Hello, my name is Elenit and I'm an inner truth teacher and coach. Have you ever been in the situation where you have a problem, you have no idea how to solve it? You try to do certain things, you ask for help, and still nothing seems to work, but eventually the situation is solved. Then you look back and think to yourself, actually, it was not that difficult. And maybe the solution to the problem came in an unexpected way. This is what I'm going to talk today about uncertainty, about how uncertainty is an essential part of life that actually makes life worth living. So, as I said in the introduction, when we're trying to solve a problem, we have the certainty of a problem and the uncertainty of how we're going to solve it. This is a mechanism that is built into life. Uncertainty is essential to life because it's a requirement for growth. The problem is the opportunity. Every single time, the problem is an opportunity to overcome something, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a relationship or a financial situation, you name it. There has to be uncertainty that's gonna make you stretch yourself and become someone you are not yet, but someone who's a more expanded version of yourself. That's what growth is. And that's why when we're in difficult situations, we often have to try new things. We have to maybe ask for help where usually we wouldn't, or we would have to develop new skills. We would have to think beyond our normal patterns. This is what starts shaping the new reality. You take a step thinking, oh, this might be it. But actually, it doesn't have to be it. It's a part of the solution, it's a part of the journey, but at the end, it's about the accumulation of the steps that you took to become a new person. And that new person doesn't have the difficult situation, doesn't have the same problem that the old person had. So the problem needs to solve. Most likely, if you're watching this, you can identify with this process. And also, most likely, you don't enjoy this process. Why? Because for humans, naturally, uncertainty is not a positive feeling. It doesn't mean that it can be, but for most people, it's not. But it's really important to remember that uncertainty is always an opportunity to create confidence. Since you already have had a lot of problems in your life, I'm sure. I have. That also means that you have solved a lot of those problems, which means that you are very capable. So the next time you run into a difficult situation, it's very wise to think about all those problems in the past that you already solved. Because also most probably the next thing is actually not the most difficult situation you've had in your life. So you're already capable to overcome this. And every time you overcome something, have you noticed that there's a feeling of confidence? That's because confidence comes after taking action. Confidence is a result. It's not a requirement to take action. It's not a requirement to live life. And so you can develop trust in yourself and strengthen that trust by remembering all those times where you overcame your problems and you gain a little bit more confidence. To illustrate how positive uncertainty can be in your life, because it's a skill, it's about how often and how much you practice this perspective of, okay, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how I'm going to get to where I want to get, but you don't have to know. Now, uncertainty is there to give you the opportunity to become a new person, a more expanded version of yourself. My example is that of a movie. When you go to the movies or when you watch a movie, you do it because you want to experience something. You want to experience a feeling. You want to either be inspired or you want to feel some adrenaline if it's an action film, or you even want to experience horror if you watch a horror movie. But definitely we watch movies to experience a feeling. And it would be very boring to watch a movie where there's no conflict, where there's no uncertainty. In a good story, there's always a problem. And in a good story, the protagonist always develops from being someone fearful or with no confidence and with a lot of self-doubt, or someone arrogant, someone greedy, you name it. to being someone at the end, to becoming someone more sensible, to becoming someone wiser, kinder, more empowered. You wouldn't watch the movie if you knew exactly what's gonna happen. People go to the movies to watch new movies, new releases, where they don't know the story, they don't know how it's gonna develop, they don't know what the tension is going to be, but they know there's gonna be uncertainty and there's gonna be a problem and there's gonna be an interesting ending. Life is way easier and more pleasant when we learn to look at uncertainty in a positive way and actually in a way that works for us. Finally, I have a question for you. What situation in your life is currently uncertain? See you next time.